do you think this agent should be investigated?
I think the DOJ, and as the Deputy Attorney General has mentioned, they are going to look into the case. What you see happening, though, in the state of Minnesota right now, Anna, is we have federal agents, ICE agents, that are in trying to arrest criminals that are here illegally, and there's criminal activity going on. That is the job they're trying to do. Unfortunately, what you have seen from the top leaders of our state, both our governor and Mayor Frey, is opposition to the work that is being done, very destructive and concerning political rhetoric that could incite violence. You heard Mayor Frey use vulgar language toward the ICE agents. That is why you're seeing such a clash here. In Minnesota, what is needed is cooler heads at the top leadership of the state to go ahead and coordinate with the work that is being done here on the state, on our streets, allowing the federal agents to do their work and then bring the temperature down here in Minnesota. That is what is needed, and we're not seeing that at this point.
Yeah, we're entering week 3 here. President Trump did float the idea of invoking the Insurrection Act in Minneapolis before walking back that threat, saying it's not currently needed right now. I want you to take a listen as a law professor weighed in on how state leadership has responded to these protests on the ground.
One question that you have to ask when you watch the videos earlier this week of the fighting between federal officers and people in Minneapolis is, where's the state government? Where's the local government? You wouldn't need the Insurrection Act if state and local officers were doing their job and maintaining peace.
So is federal help necessary?
Right now, I think this can still be handled at a state level if our top leaders will actually work with those making the decisions. There's no reason why local law enforcement can't be working alongside of federal agents just to make sure that our communities are safe. That is not what we are seeing in Minneapolis, and it is making things more dangerous. Anna, these are the same leaders of our state, Governor Walz and Mayor Frey, that were leading the city and the state back in 2020 after the death of George Floyd and after protests turned to riots, and there was damage throughout the cities. Now, I am all in favor of people peacefully protesting, but when it crosses a line, people have to be held accountable.
Well, the White House says Minnesota sanctuary politicians have released nearly 470 criminal illegal aliens back into American communities since President Trump took office. The Department of Homeland Security unveiled a list of the worst criminal offenders among the hundreds of illegal immigrants arrested by ICE agents during Operation Metro Surge there in Minneapolis. This does include a man who was convicted of murder, they say, and another who has 24 convictions, including domestic abuse. In your view, what is happening on the ground in Minnesota?
These are dangerous criminals, as you have just noticed, that have very dangerous and criminal accusations against them. If Minnesotans, regardless of how they feel about what is going on right now, if they would realize the people that are being taken off our streets, illegal immigrants that have criminal activity and charges against them, they would be grateful. Unfortunately, our mainstream media here, Anna, is not covering it in a way that Minnesotans are getting the full story. I'm grateful for you and your reporting in NewsNation, getting out the full aspect of what is truly going on here.
Our reporters on the ground are working tirelessly to try to share all sides of the story. It's powder keg there right now. Newly inaugurated Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger, on her first day of office, vetoed an executive order that ended the state's collaboration with ICE that allowed local law enforcement to act as agents. Now, according to a recent poll from The Economist and YouGov, take a look at this. 46% of Americans are in favor of abolishing ICE as a whole. So if the federal government operates without collaboration of state officials, what kind of issues does that pose? And also, how could Americans be feeling like this toward ICE be impacting the upcoming midterm elections?
I think when Minnesotans are misinformed about what's really going on, that is what negatively affects the work that ICE is doing. Under the Biden administration, too many people were let in on our open borders. I'm grateful that President Trump has been sealing our borders, making our country safer. But this is a result of failed leadership over the last number of years under the Biden administration, and we're seeing the results of that.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.